back to the channel. This is Vlogmas Day 5. So I have got my pockets full of treats and I'm actually in a Christmas jumper for once. So I'm feeling quite festive and I'm going to basically show you my winter after school routine because it is very dark. It gets very dark, so it's very hard to do the ponies in the winter, and people that don't have lights, it's also like really hard because you just have to use your phone torch, which isn't ideal. But I'm going to show you what we do when it's dark and in the winter. So that means feeding the ponies some hay, grooming, and also just exercising them because our paddock is really wet in the winter, and just like it's quite good ground in the summer, but it's still a bit wet in the corner. So I'm going to be showing you what we do in the winter when it's wet as well, because we can't really walk them around the paddock because they still have to use that for eating. So I'll show you exactly what we do and all of our tips and tricks. So my first trick is actually quite a usual one that most people do, and that is find yourself a big, nice, fluffy coat. So mine is from the Regretta, I think I'm saying that right, Great Outdoors, and they do it in kids and adults. So this also has a zip at the bottom, which means I can ride in it as well, and I can basically do everything in this. I was really wanting one from Lemieux, but it is quite pricey, so what I do like to do is look for things that are on sale, because then it's much more affordable and a lot easier to pay for. So this is a necessity. And also I have yard boots. You can use wellies, but I just find that my yard boots are a lot easier to use because they're waterproof, but they're also a lot more comfortable I find, than just normal like wellies. So that is another tip and trick. Next, get yourself a good pair of gloves, because gloves in the winter is so important because you don't want your hands getting cold, and once your hands get cold, your whole body gets cold basically. And that is pretty much all the tips that I can give, and for like what you're wearing. The next tip though is get yourself an easy to wash head collar, because you don't want them to like have a really nice fluffy head collar and it get ruined so much in the summer. So what we do is we do have Lemieux ones for these, because I find that these Lemieux ones, let me just get one, are very easy. I wouldn't get like any light colours though, because they will just get ruined like completely. So those are my top tips. Top tips with having head collars. Now next is we only feed in the morning, but we are going to be starting to give them a dinner. It's just because we have got quite a bit of grass now, but we are desperately running out of grass and it's getting quite soggy, the ground. So what we are going to start doing is giving them feed and dinner, and there is a hay shortage here in England. So what we do is we give them some chaff, because if you give them loads of chaff, then that can be like completely cut out for hay. But we do give them still a bit of hay, so that is another tip. Also, ponies do love treats, but the one thing with treats is it does make them fat. So what you have to do is you do have to make sure that you have some low sugar, high fibre treats, especially with there not being too much hay nowadays. Also, another tip that we've learnt off of the person that supplies us hay is to put 50% straw, 50% hay, because straw is a lot easier to get and it's also a lot cheaper, and they can still eat straw. It fills them up, it just doesn't make them fat, which is really nice. But next, we do groom them every day. Check their feet. My sister is with me. Check their feet. And, oh, there they are. Hello, boys. Oh, yeah, there we go. But that is something that we do every day. So we are now going to be bringing them in, and I'll show you exactly what our grooming sessions look like, and also how we exercise, because that is also very key. It is also very hard because this is like the only bit of concrete we have here. So it's not like we can make them walking laps. Okay. And then also our arena is currently being used as their like pasture sort of place as well. But I'll show you exactly what we do. And yeah. Another trick that I have just before we start our grooming is to get yourself a big bucket of hay. So we got kind of a wheelie bin. It is made for horse feeds, but it's on wheels, which means we can basically do like Deliveroo. We can just wheel it straight to them. So what we do is we do 50% hay, 50% straw, because that is...
Is this purely straw?
No, there's also a bit of hay.
Did you do it?
No, but Mum did.
You sure it's not pure? Is you sure
Look,
it's not
hand
bedding?
That's hay. So yes, what you want to do is you want to get a big bucket of straw and hay mixed. If you do just use hay, then just do that because it saves so much time, especially with it getting dark in the winter, and also it might be raining one time, which is not nice to go fill hay nets in. So we are now going to be filling up some hay nets, and then I'll see you whilst I'm grooming. So guys, he is right now here. Mila's very kindly just gone and got the step. So what we use is we do use a step for putting stuff in. It's not ideal, but it has actually got a container inside. It is also made for it, so we would prefer to have like a grooming bag, but we actually managed to find a toolbox. So that is a tip: get a builder's toolbox and use it because the one that we got is only £12, and the one we were looking at is £50. So you save £38. So that is definitely a good tip. What I quite like to do is use a hard brush to get all of the dirt off of him, and then I go over with the dandy brush, and then I pick out their feet. And I do usually quite like to try different bits and bobs on them. So if I got like a new saddle pad, or if I just want to generally try on a saddle pad to see like what I want to wear for our next ride, then I do that once they're all groomed, because it is quite nice to be able to try different things on them. Plus it also gets them desensitized to like you chucking different things on them, because you might like put the ear bonnet on and at first they aren't too sure, and then after a few sessions of you grooming and chucking things on them, they become good with it. So that is another thing that I do. If you notice, I am not wearing gloves right now, but that's because it isn't actually too cold outside. It's December 11th, so that does mean that we aren't properly into the winter. But I find in the winter it's actually quite easy, because sure there's a lot of mud, but it's more clumped mud. My pet peeve though is when the mud isn't dry, because then there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. We are also very lucky here that we can be grooming in the dark, because we do have lights. There's some lights over there that you guys will be able to see. Oh my goodness, mate, you managed to get it all on you. But yes.
I recommend light. Right, so just say this, okay? Cut it. I recommend light. It may be a bit expensive, but it's a good thing to invest in, since you can spend more time on the horse.
I would recommend lights. We do have some lights actually up at Team U. Good old Team U. They are not half working, half not, so they're censored lights. They aren't too good at censored lighting. So what we do is we have one just over there, because then that means that we can walk them up and down whilst it being dark outside. So it's a really good thing to invest in, because you can bond more with your horse, but also you can have more grooming time and even riding time if you get enough lights. So there are like some big lights that you can get. I forgot what we call them. Do you know what we call them? Pardon? Floodlights. Yeah, there are floodlights you can get, but they are quite expensive. So, pardon?
We've got one.
We do have one, but it's only facing into the paddock that they're currently in, not into our arena, which means we can't ride, and also our arena is waterlogged, so it is not too ideal to be riding in at the minute. Which is why I'd actually recommend going to arena hires quite a bit. There's been quite a few VLOGMAS episodes now where I've been going to arena hires because we have a really nice local indoor arena, and it's bigger than most outdoor arenas as well. There's loads of jumps as well, so you can easily try different things with both the ponies, and you know, no matter the weather, you can still have a really nice ride. So I'd recommend finding yourself a nice indoor arena. Archie, excuse me, you're blocking the camera. So I'd recommend finding yourself a nice indoor arena to be able to ride in. You can book it, and some arenas are quite pricey, but the one we found is actually quite a good price. Oh, sorry, please.
Some main tail tender.
Oh yeah. Another bit of advice is getting some mane and tail tangula, like this one. Yeah, that one's quite good. Because that's my birthday.
Silky.
Archie has actually been quite bad at it. Like a year ago, he cancer and galloped and bronc away from it because he hated the sound of the spray. But now he's actually quite good with it. I'll show you what he's like now. The first few times when we put it on him, he is a bit wary, and he does stop eating. So you'll be able to see that he doesn't like it, but he still lets us do it. So he doesn't fully relax doing it. So that is something we are working on, and to make it a bit more of a pleasant experience, what I do is I give him a treat after I've sprayed it, because then he realises.
How many times do you spray it?
Pardon?
How many times do you spray it? Twice.
What?
You do 2 sprays and you give a treat.
It's kind of random.
Oh, I think it's 2 sprays and a treat.
So that is, so then he associates it with a treat and not as something very scary. And what we have is, Mila, so what we have these trainers pretty much. They can do the exact same as boots, as horseshoes. You can walk, trot, canter, jump in them, and you have to pay for them once, and like they are quite expensive. They're about £100, but you can get some off of Facebook Marketplace that are a lot cheaper.
And also you buy them once.
You buy them once.
Like 5 years.
Yeah, they last a long time. So yeah, I definitely recommend that. If you are using boots, if you are using shoes and your family comes out quite often, then what we do is we do have all of our ponies barefoot because we only pay for the boots once, and then you can just always be putting them on. Next tip that we always use is we do own a grey, so Stain Master is very important because greys do get very, very dirty, and especially in the winter I find that it's been very hard keeping Fox clean so far, because he does love to roll, and both of the ponies do love to just lay down. So it is quite hard with it being winter, because the mud isn't like dust, because dust is actually quite easy to brush off. So it's clumped mud, but when it's wet, it's not Ideal. Plus, this is a dry shampoo, so you don't have to. You don't have to rinse the fur before you now have to rinse the fur before you actually put it on, but you do have to rinse it off.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do. If not, it doesn't work.
Which one does?
Not as well.
Oh yeah, but if you're on the brush, it's fine.
Yeah, if you're in a rush, it's fine, but you probably would want to rinse it off because it is a lot easier. And also a tip that is quite good is brushing their mane onto the correct side. You can see he stopped eating now and he's a bit wary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some carrots out of my pockets. So you can see that he wasn't too fond of that experience. He stopped eating, he didn't move, so he did cope with it. It's just that he wasn't like relaxed, you could say.
Hi there.
So guys, that is his grooming done. What I am now going to be doing is I'm going to be trying some different stuff with him. I am going to be letting him see everything though. So, we have got this saddle pad and we got it new for our birthday. So I'm going to be trying that on him. Oh yes, actually. Stunning. Now this also helps because every time you check on a saddle pad, your horse won't automatically expect you're going for like a ride. So then if they see a saddle pad and they're quite wary of the saddle because they know that you're going for a ride, they won't be so scared because they'll be like, oh yeah, this is just a normal experience. It means we could be going for a ride, but it doesn't mean that 100% of the time we are. So this is very nice. And yes guys, you guessed it, we do have the matching ear bonnet. It is in size medium though, so that does mean it is slightly big for him. He's a bit more wary with this, because it kind of has to go over his head. You good there? Hope it's on your lips, Lee. Oh, thank you. Are you okay now, huh? You're fine now with it, are you? So this colour does suit him quite well, actually. Or my opinion. I mean, he's my pony. Of course, I think every colour suits him. Are you going to show the camera? No. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. It is this much too big for him. So it does kind of look like it's kind of flopping. But, oh, baby. Looks like you got a bit of wabi-sabi. Wow. So I'm going to try some other things on him. Oh, Rita. I think we should let them pick now what they want to wear for the weekend.
No, it's really easy for them to be in their paddock and have buckets.
No, we don't.
Yeah, otherwise they won't go in.
No, because they can just touch the saddle pad. Because they're quite inquisitive, so they will just touch the saddle pad.
Oh, some of this chestnut's along.
Why don't you put it on?
I'm going in there.
So what we do like to do is we like to walk them around on this concrete. It's not ideal because they cannot trot, but it is something that we do like to do. Also carpet in their fields. It might seem quite weird, but carpet does actually soak up quite a bit of like water. So if you do have a very waterlogged field, then put some carpet down on like by gateways or stuff. It is quite a cheap alternative rather than put some concrete down everywhere. So some people do like to use slabs, but they are quite expensive. And we've had a house renovation, which means some carpet's been, like some excess carpet has been spared. So what we like to do is we like to put it down by gates And we also like to put it down by their field shelter, which means they have a nice place to lay on where they won't get too wet, but also they can stand where they won't be slipping everywhere. And we have also been putting down straw by their gate, because then that does also help quite a bit as well. But those are all of my top tips for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.